people are going to be on this call later, right? And those who are watching this later, I do appreciate you as well. We changed our day from Thursday to Friday, primarily because of COVID-19 and because of the abundance of food that we were serving on Thursday for our Overcomers group, right? We may change it back. I did a poll, and based off the poll, that is the reason why we changed it to Friday. I think it works out a little better, not only for myself, but it also works better for you guys, because usually after this call, you're probably ending your day. Now, we would usually have this meeting at Above and Beyond, and our hosts, we would have a beautiful lunch from Monique, who was the chef, and we would all sit around and congregate and just have, you know, embraces and talk and side conversations and network. And those things can still happen on Zoom, but it's just a different way of doing them. So I ask you to network with people that are in the chat. Once everybody introduces themselves, send your information to them, get to know each other. The goal of the Community Support Advisory Council is to not only empower our returning citizens, but to also learn about each other, learn about what we all do, so that we can have the focus be on the men and women that are coming home. We want them to find jobs, but we also want them to have skills. We want them to have skills, but we also want to create entrepreneurs. We want to create the new form and end recidivism the right way. And that's us sharing ideas, sharing our programs, sharing different things that resources that we have. So I ask you, when the time comes, if you have announcements, get them together now, because I want you to let us know what's going on with your organization. Let us know how we can develop, or how we can create, or we can come together. That is the whole purpose of the Community Support Advisory Council, to not only empower those that are coming home, or those who are already here, but also to empower each other. So it's a celebration. I hope you got your lunch. I know Mr. Perry got his lunch. I got my lunch right here, okay? So no, we don't have that good meal, but hopefully you brought your lunch, and you know, it's just a day for us to congregate, enjoy each other. And like I said, I got two amazing speakers. I have an inspirational speaker that's gonna blow you away. And those of you already know the guest speaker. And if you don't know, you will know after today. So I want to start introducing everybody. So I'm gonna look at the person that's next to me on the Zoom call, and I ask that you introduce yourself. Let us know who you are, what organization you're from. I will be taking notes. I have everything. I'm putting everybody in here. And like I said, if it's your first time, send me a personal DM or put it in the chat so that I can reach out to you, you know, probably Monday at the latest, okay? So again, my name is Joseph Green. I'm the outreach coordinator at Westside Health Authority, CSAC West. Now I'm gonna do the introductions first, then we're gonna do the prayer. So I'm gonna pass it to Roger Eman.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's like old times, getting together with everybody and enjoying each other's company and sharing best practices and sharing our stories and those kinds of things. So just an honor to be on here. So my name is Roger Eman. I'm the director of the Community Reentry and Employment Center at Westside Health Authority. And as Joseph said, he and I used to go down and hope to do it again soon to Sheridan Correctional Center 3 times a month to do pre-release orientations and staffing meetings and all those kinds of things. And I go back to CSAC to 2007, and it's one of my favorite things that I do, because I like speaking with other people and seeing how they do things and sharing information. And we're open, that, by the way, to linkage agreements for any agencies, and always should be encouraging each other to do linkage agreements as well, so that we can better facilitate assisting each other's clients. I know at Westside Health Authority, we're not a one-stop shop. We don't have all the on-site services that our returning citizens need. But you know what? There's 78 agencies in CSAC West, and all of you have the stuff that we don't have, and vice versa. So it's very important that that's why this program has been in existence since 2004, because it works. And so again, thanks for having me on. I look forward to the meeting today.
I think I'm next in the line. I don't know. Are we going in the line?
No, that's fine. Just pass it to the next person you see.
Okay, well here, I'm on. So I'm Angelia Bianca. Everyone calls me Bianca. I work at the University of Illinois. I've been working with this population in social services for over 10 years, regardless, reentry, substance abuse, violence prevention, the list goes on and on. So as with all of us, we wear a million hats. But I'm been coming to CSAC meetings for a long time and glad to be here to learn any new resources that I can. And that's about it. I know most of you guys. Hey, Melissa. Hey, everybody. Okay, done. Wait, hi, Terrence. Hi, Terrence. Sorry, can't leave you out. And Maria Moon.
All right, the next person, Terrence Hill. I'll just do it since y'all.
Hello, everyone. My name is Terrence Hill. I'm with the Illinois Department of Corrections. I am the outreach administrator for the department. My job is to actually engage with you on the community level to make sure that you have access to the workings and what we're trying to do at IDOC to really engage and be successful in the fight against recidivism, as well as get community input and involvement for our current offenders and the returning citizens that are going to be coming home every day to your community. Had an opportunity to work with Joseph Green, CSAC West over the last couple of years, really a light in the community, and men and women that are passionate about reentry and assisting the community to be a better place for all of us to live. If for any reason you are having issues with the Department of Corrections and or need to be engaged, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Most of you have my information. If you don't, Mr. Green has access to me on a pretty much as he needs to get in touch with me basis. Again, I'm happy to see all of you all this year. Thank you all for taking some time to listen to me ramble for a few minutes. And I look forward to today's meeting. Talk to you all soon.
Yeah.
Hey, Roger.
How you doing, Terrence?
Good afternoon. My name is Saya Knox. I'm from the Greater Chicago Food Depositories Workforce Development Team. I've been a part of GCFD since 2020 of September. I'm a program specialist. I also assist Hubie DeRay, our new career pathways manager, with career services. And on that note, I'll pass the torch to Hubie DeRay. Thank you.
Hello all, my name is Hubie DeRay. I'm the new career pathways manager here at Greater Chicago Food Depository. We're concentrating on workforce development to enhance the skills of our students and to ensure that they achieve employment at the end of our training. Nice to meet all of you. I look forward to partnering with some of you as well.
Okay, I'll go ahead and take it. Good morning. Well, it's afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michelle Ann Roden. Nita, it's my first time being here. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm a professor at the Jane Addams College of Social Work at UIC. I'm also a trauma therapist, and my work is surrounding trauma-informed care for practitioners and clients who have experienced, trauma and involved in the justice system. And I'll pass it on to Danielle Portis.
Don't be shy now.
Okay.
Mr.
There's no
Perry?
response. Should I give somebody? Okay, Joshua Corkley. I see you. So
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Joshua Coakley. So like the street Oakley with the C. I am representing Target Area Development Corporation, sitting in for our new director, Howard Lindsay. I am the Outreach Program Director of Street Outreach for Target Area. Most of you guys know me. Good to see you guys again. Feel free to reach out to me if you got any new connections.
Good to see you, brother.
Likewise, my brother.
I thought we were trying to get in your pockets. How are we giving you our connection?
He say networking, y'all, networking. I see a lot of new folks. Y'all, you guys.
I go ahead and jump in. My name is Toy Beasley. I represent TAS, Treatment Alternatives for Safer Communities. I'm the Reentry Support Coordinator statewide. Part of my responsibility is to help start the inner circle inside the institutions and winter circle in the community. Every Saturday night, we have a virtual winter circle for anyone in the community, the people we serve. Joseph has my flyer. He'll forward to everyone. So if you know someone in the community looking for a support group, a different type of support group, individuals that's getting out and they're incarcerated, so they can have a safe place to talk about their life struggles they're going through. Every Saturday night, 7 o'clock. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Okay.
I'll pass it to Melissa Odell.
Melissa Odell, I'm the Executive Director of Defy Ventures Illinois, and we provide pathways to financial independence for people who are currently and formerly incarcerated. I just want to make a little plug. We're currently recruiting for our Entrepreneur Bootcamp. So if you have anyone who's 18 and older who's looking to take a free online course, I put my information in the chat and I would love to speak with them. Thank you.
Good to see you, Melissa. Mr. Perry, don't be shy, sir.
Never have been. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Charles Perry. 13 years ago, I was released from prison and I started volunteering at Westside Health Authority. 3 years later, Reverend Coleman and Roger Eman offered me a job, the same job Joseph is doing now. And that was probably one of those life-changing moments for me. It has impacted my life greatly because I talked about being engaged in reentry while I was incarcerated. But it also opened up so many doors for me that I didn't even have no idea how to get through. So it is my pleasure to be here with y'all today, and I'm looking forward to hear some of the good stuff that y'all doing around the city.
Hey, Charles, I just have to say, I'm so proud of you. Great job.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Jerome.
we are.
Doing, Bianca.
Mr. Williams, you might as well go.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Jerome Williams. I'm the Reentry Outreach Coordinator for CSAC North and Howard area. I'm glad to see everybody. How you doing, James Coleman? All right. Charles Perry, how you doing? All right. Everyone, how you doing? Terrence, everyone.
Krista.
Hi, everybody. I'm Krista Dutt. I am a pastor of a church called The Dwelling Place that serves incarcerated families primarily, and also work for Mennonite Central Committee, which we work in mass incarceration issues, making sure partners have resources to do reentry and other kinds of work. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Good to be
Mr. Land.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tony Land. I am the Government and External Affairs Officer for New Age Services, opioid and substance use treatment facility. We also do mental health and HIV and DUI counseling. somebody said that we ought to be doing linkage agreements, and I've sent a number of your agencies that I see on here today, agreements that have not responded, that have gone not responded. My email is in the chat. Reach back out so I can resend you the agreement so we can all link up. Thanks, Joseph.
Now, for the record, let them know that we have signed our agreement.
Absolutely. Task has signed the agreement. Westside Health Authority has signed the agreement. And there are a couple other agencies I see on here. And I'm gonna put, and wait a minute, let me just say this. Anywhere Charles Perry is at, I wanna be there, okay? All right, the great Charles Perry, all right? And I see Jerome down there. Let me give out some shout. We're gonna have to put Terrence on blast. He's been missing in action, all right?
Right, but I thought I linked you with the group. Don't hate on me, man. Hey, see, this is what you get for inviting your mentors to come play with you. They always got to make sure that you stay on point. Hate is a choice. I just wanted to point that out to y'all.
See, Joseph, see how they do old folks?
Yes,
you see how they do old folks, Joseph?
Yes, sir. Ms. Thomas, you can
You're
go
all right,
ahead.
Tony.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Reverend Thomas. I am a post-release case manager with the TASK program, and we essentially just provide resources and referrals for returning citizens.
All right. Good to see you. Our guest speaker, Mr. Reverend James Coleman. You mute, you.
Wow, can I just say, wow? Everybody say, wow.
Wow.
Wow. Hey, Reverend.
Hey, it's just, so heart feeling to see a lot of faces that, and people that I've worked with in times past. And, just to feel that passion that everybody has for what they do around the meeting. And I just got to tell you, I'm full. Even, there are people here that are working for organizations that I'm very familiar with, and in roles that I'm familiar with. Just the faces have changed. But, I got to say, I like this energy a little better. So, yeah, my name is James Coleman. I'm Director of Community Wellness at the Westside Health Authority, and the former statewide director for the Community Support Advisory Council. So thank you for having me, sir. Pretty special.
Real fast, Reverend Coleman. Oh my God, I haven't seen you in so long. So
I know.
You are literally, after me doing all those years in the penitentiary, you're literally the first person, do you remember, that brought me into the penitentiary to speak? And I don't know if I it was so like, wow, like, and then I remember we were having lunch, and I asked you, I asked the CO, would it be okay if I go out and have a cigarette and come back? And they were like, yeah, sure. Just there's a smoking over there. And I'm like, okay. And I walked, literally got to walk out. And that was the first time ever in my life. And I was like, oh my God, like literally I'm smoking. I can go back in. And so it was a really, you really made an impression on me and helped open some doors as everybody here. I'm grateful to everybody on this call. Jerome, all of you guys. I can't even name you all. Joshua, everybody. Terrence, all you guys. But anyway, I am truly humbled and grateful by the grace of God.
Amen. This is so good to see you and everyone else.
Miss Melissa Hernandez.
All right. Hello, everyone. Melissa Hernandez. I am Director of Outreach for Above and Beyond Family Recovery Center, and I'm also Project Manager for our brand new Above and Beyond Free Food Pantry located in West Garfield Park. So Above and Beyond Recovery Center, we offer IOP services, OP services, group therapy, and visual. We have a lot of services, free food, clothes. Our services are completely free, no insurance necessary, no ID, and we practice COVID safety measures at the door. We are still open and we're still working on site, even throughout the whole pandemic, and even virtual for whatever works with anyone. And if anyone is interested or have any patients or would like to recommend, are referred to us. My email is in the chat, and I would like to thank Joseph Green and CSAC West for being amazing. We worked closely together with our patients, and you guys do amazing work, and it has been an honor. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Ms. Moon.
Hello, my brother. Hello, everybody. Good to see y'all. Love you, Bianca. Melissa, all of you all, love y'all. Okay, I'm Maria Moon. I'm the Housing Justice Organizer with Chicago Area Fair Housing Alliance. I did almost 13 years incarcerated. I had a passion as the second African American newsletter editor in Lincoln. I had a passion to create a column that addressed the reasons why people were coming in and out, because I felt like they were judged harshly by what you would call long timers. So I was basically considered more of a long timer, but I saw like a division between those two different demographic of people. And so I addressed it because what I've noticed is that even though I was doing over a decade in prison, I kept recidivating, maybe not physically, but in other ways. I felt like I kept coming back and forth to mental prisons and other type of prisons. So I have a lot of articles that I did personally interviewing people, and I learned about the reentry issues while I was outside. My greatest passion is street ministry. I also care about global incarceration. I just joined the missionary team that addresses that. And I'm just glad to be here with all you lovely people. I think I'll pass it on to, who hasn't gone? I'm trying to see. Capricia?
Hi, everybody. My name is Capricia. I'm working with Legal Aid Chicago as an intake specialist here in Westside Health Authority's office, actually, doing in-person intake and everything. I'm always glad to see a lot of people on this call because I think, this is an important meeting, and also, we're sharing resources with people. So I really love it. So.
Glad to see you here. Mr. Ortiz. George Ortiz. All right, Ms. Perkins.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Jeanette Perkins. I'm a task care coordinator. We work with the juvenile justice involved youth. What we do, we try to assist them, whether they need counseling or substance abuse treatment, whatever the needs might be. That's what we try to do for them. I also had the pleasure, I think, of joining one of you guys meeting at the conservatory right before COVID that you used to meet there on Thursdays, I think. But this is my first time in one of these meetings.
Good to see you.
Okay. And I would like to pass it on to my supervisor, Danielle Porter. She'll tell you more about our program.
All right.
Hello, everyone. I am Danielle Portis. I am the clinical supervisor for the Juvenile Justice Collaborative Program that Ms. Perkins was telling you about. So I supervise the Juvenile Justice Program and a teen pregnancy prevention and early intervention program. So with the Juvenile Justice, we receive youth from the state's attorney's office, and we assess them to see if they need clinical support, mentoring, resources for their families, workforce development, things like that. And then for the teen pregnancy prevention program, that is for youth who have violated probation and they receive life skills basically like life skills, different presentations and modules, life lessons, mentoring, clinical support as well. So both juvenile programs that I serve in.
Ms. Morris?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tisa Morris. I have the pleasure of being the Director of Community Engagement for Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart. Thanks for having us here. Glad to be here.
Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Ms. Lopez?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome, awesome. Hi, hello, my name is Karina Lopez. I work with the Illinois Justice Project, and I'm very happy to be listening in on my first meeting with y'all. We had been convening a reentry housing task force and are thinking about ways to address some policy issues with reentry, and I'm really here to learn from you all and hope to be partners.
All right. Mandy's phone. Okay. Halbert?
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, my name is Halbert Williams, and I am a TIP case manager with Inner Voice, and that stands for Transition in Place, where we assist homeless and at-risk homeless veterans with acquiring subsidized housing for from 6 to 12 months. I'm just glad to be here. I'm not a stranger to these meetings. Looking forward to hearing some good information and networking. Thanks.
All right. Glad to see you here. Is Mr. Wade in here?
Good afternoon, everyone. How are you, Brother Joseph? Apologies, I'm late. So my name is Michael. I am the recruitment manager at Sunshine Enterprises, where we offer entrepreneurial training for all entrepreneurs, specifically those in under-resourced communities. But we do have a program called PERC, which stands for Pathway to Enterprise for Reemerging Citizens. And in that program, those who have been previously incarcerated in a state or federal prison can take our program 100% free. We offer them business coaching, we offer them technology coaching, as well as mentorship throughout the entire program. And then as soon as they graduate, they get the mentorship as well. So we're trying to be with them every step of the way to ensure that they not only succeed in society, but also make sure that they do not return back to prison. So that's my little spiel. So yeah, I'll drop my contact information in the chat.
All right, good to see you, sir. Ms. Perkins.
Hello, how's everyone doing today?
All right.
Good.
Somebody might not know you. You ain't gonna say nothing else.
I was waiting on you to look, because I heard somebody speaking. I know I came in a little late. I'm
Oh,
up here doing
no.
a couple of things at once.
Just, hey, and what's your organization? Because you know, Ms. Perkins was the job developer and job coach at Westside Health Authority, but she's moved on. So this is her first meeting back of the new year. So just let us know what you're doing now.
Yes, sir. No, I appreciate that. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
where you
as
at?
Joseph said, I was the former job coach and developer there at Westside Health Authority. Also did some time at Target Area Development. I was a CSAC South Director there over the reentry. So definitely always a pleasure to stay connected with this network. But right now I am with the organization called the Policing Project. I'm community engagement specialist there, and I work with initiative called the Neighborhood Policing Initiative with these officers called DCOs, District Coordination Officers. So currently the rollout has already begun on the west side of the implementation. So we have been meeting with community members as well as the DCOs in the 9th, 10th, 11th, 15th, and 25th districts. And so again, this program is truly about collaborating with the DCOs and the community members around policing priorities. So any public safety issues pertaining to their specific community, and we invite community members, and we identify stakeholders in the communities, i.e. pastors, community-based organizations, block club presidents, et cetera, who want to know more about the NPI, the initiative, and how they can learn more about the policing project and the work that we're doing with the police. And so, like I said, it started in 2018 implementation. And so this is something that I know the mayor was really, one of her things she was pushing regarding public safety around community engagement, having the police getting back to community engagement. So I believe the 15th district have been engaged with the police, their police there, and the commanders there. And so if you see officers kind of really walking up and down the block, you beat officers and so forth, that's pretty much what this initiative is really gained toward. So that's what I'm doing now. If and Joseph, you have my information. If anyone wants to know more about the NPI, gladly to share more with you. I have like a 2-pager that I can send an email to. Yeah, and that's it.
All right. Last but not least, I want to introduce our inspirational speaker, Nazir Smith.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nazir Smith. I'm currently working with Howard Area Community Center, CSAC North. I'm a newly returned citizen. I just paroled from IDOC November 2020 after serving 12 and a half years. This is my first Zoom meeting, and my first interaction with CSAC. So I'm excited to see what's to come, and and I thank you for having me on board.
Yes, sir. Glad you could make it. All right, so wait, that's it. Anybody? I see a couple phone numbers in there. If you want to introduce yourself, the floor is open before we begin with our prayer. Anybody that did not speak?
Hi, I'm Mandy Hughes, and I'm with Inside Out Network as an intern. I'm actually with the Arizona team, but I am here to learn from all of you because I know things are going very well in Illinois from what I've heard, and I admire what you're doing.
Thank you. How's Mr. Nelson doing? Okay. So I asked our guest speaker if he would be kind enough to lead us in a prayer, and he obliged. So I'm gonna give him the floor. And then after the prayer, I want to open it up for anybody with any events or anything that's going on. So Mr. Coleman.
Let us join our hearts and call on our Creator. Heavenly Father, we just thank you. I personally thank you for what you have allowed me to see and partake of today with your people coming together that care about people, not judging an individual based on their past, but seeking to lift them up and help them to move forward into the future that you have predestined. Father, I know that this work is not done by our own strength. Success can only be found by the power of your Spirit's guidance. So even right now, Father, I just release your anointing upon each and every individual that is on this meeting now, and even the grace to work in this area with individuals who are formerly incarcerated, to work in the area of policy, Lord. Father, I ask that you grant them eyes to see and ears to hear, in that direction to move in, to continue to move the fight forward in annihilating recidivism, healing the homes and families, Lord God, restoring humanity back to its rightful position before you. So I ask that you bless this meeting right now, that you lead it, guide it, and direct it, and everyone would leave this meeting today wiser and more stronger than they began this meeting with. All this I ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Yes, sir. So I want to open up the floor for anybody that has any events that are coming up, anything that you want the people who are watching this meeting now or people that watch this meeting later to know. And then after everybody else goes, then I have some announcements that I want to make. All right, so if you have a resource fair, some job opportunities for our returning citizens, anything that's going on that we need to be in the know about, now is the time to let that be known.
Good afternoon. Again, this is Saya Knox from the Greater Chicago Food Depository. I'm super excited to announce that we have expanded our workforce program offerings. So early this February, we piloted a 6-week warehouse bridge program. And in April, we are piloting a 10-week certified warehouse and logistics technician program. And with the expanding job force offerings, we have also expanded our staff. Earlier, we were introduced to Yubi Duray, our career pathways manager, and we are having an associate manager of employment partnerships onboarded this upcoming March. And right now we're in the middle of onboarding our first employer partner within the supply chain. So we have a lot of good things going on in addition to our regular supports and our current hospitality job training programs, which is a food handler job training program, as well as a customer service job training program, which are both 4 weeks each. So currently we are at 4 job training programs. Very exciting news. Thank you all. That's all I have to present today.
Congratulations, congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
Greater Food Depository is doing great work. Not only do we partner with them to feed our people, we also have a lot of other things that are going on, but we need some new chefs. You know, we need some new chefs. So if you know of any individuals who have that desire to really, you know, maybe get into the kitchen or that idea of maybe owning a business or starting their own restaurant, these are the people that they need to be linking up with. And they've made it so much easier to make those things happen.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Green. And while we're on the topic, my team member has sent out a few MOUs to a few of your organizations. If we can get those back as soon as possible, we would love to have a long-standing relationship with all of you and hopefully refer clients over to your services and vice versa. All right.
Joseph, Tony Land.
Yes.
Joe, again, I put my information in the chat. If you guys are doing something and you have your information about your event in a PDF or a JPEG or whatever, send it to me, and you know we'll post it, you know, on our LinkedIn, on our Facebook page, you know what I mean. And we're in the midst of formalizing a Twitter account as well, and so we want to help get the word out because, as somebody said, I mean, you guys are doing some great work, and we want to help share the wealth and spread the word. Okay.
Appreciate it, Tony.
Any other announcements? Anybody have any announcements? Anything coming up in March? Coming up next week? The week after next? I know I was on the. Go ahead. I'm
Are
sorry.
you trying to tee me up?
No, not you yet. Not you yet. I got
Okay,
you.
I was just making sure.
Good.
You know, I'm reading it. I felt like you were looking
No,
through me like,
no.
Hey, what
I'm
you doing on over there? Gotcha.
No. I want to hear from the other organizations, like if they have anything that's happening. Like as Melissa Odell said, that they have a cohort that's coming up. I believe Sunshine Enterprises, they have a cohort that's beginning in March. Let whatever's going on, let it be known. Because once I take the floor, I'm not gonna stop talking. Y'all know me. So
I'll just I've mentioned this before, but my church has we've been creating craft kits for kids to be able to do a craft and then keep a craft and then send one to an incarcerated loved one. If I have lots of those kits, so if you want them, please let me know. I will put my email in the chat.
and Krista is doing great work too. They actually will. Is it still going on right now, even with the pandemic?
No, we're not allowed to right now, but
okay.
Hopefully
when
soon.
The pandemic wasn't happening, they would chauffeur the families of the men or women that are incarcerated, bring their families up to the prison so that they could visit for free, because sometimes they're in such far distances. They weren't able or couldn't afford to come up there. So they're doing this free. So this is God's work that they're doing. And I always want to commend that. I met her through Mr. Perry. So she's doing great work. And hopefully once we can get back to some normalization, then we can get those individuals, you know, that, because sometimes you just need to see a face of somebody that you really care about. And you know, when you don't have that visual, it takes away, you know, it eats at you, you know, and I haven't been in that situation, but I've talked to the men, and that's one of the things that they've always, you know, like discussed, you know, just being able to see that person, you know. Is there anybody else that wants to share before I begin? Any event that's going on, anything? All right. So there's an event happening tomorrow. If you got the email, I sent it out. There's Mr. Woods from Safer Foundation letting me know that he's on his way. He's running late. So we will bombard him when he comes in. But Malcolm X is, they have an event tomorrow for those with driver's licenses. I can't actually physically send the, well, maybe I can share it. Hold on, let me see. I was prepared for this. Lord have mercy. I cannot, wait, let me see if I can pull it up. Oh, here we go. So this license, can everybody see this? Is this visual to everybody? Wait, let me move this out the way. Can everybody see this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
This is a driver's license reinstatement expo. This conversation was had at the previous reentry meeting with Congressman Danny K. Davis. It will begin tomorrow at 8:30. Now, I sent this out a couple weeks ago, so the link and everything, you would probably have to copy and paste it or actually type it. So if you have clients that need help with their driver's license reinstatement, and this is provided for our returning citizens. This is a lot of men, women, they want to get their license. This is the way to go about getting it. One thing that I thought I was going to be able to share, but I'm not able to share, is the exact date of when the Pell Grant will be accessible to our returning citizens. So for those of you who don't know, last year, Danny Davis was able to get that pushed through Congress. And now our returning citizens are those, you know, who are coming home, have the opportunity to use the Pell Grant. I will have the president of Malcolm X on the call next month, and he's going to talk about more. Hopefully we'll have more information on when exactly the Pell Grant will be able to start. And this will be in effect for all colleges, you know, the CCC throughout the city of Chicago. So this is huge because a lot of people want to further their education. They want to take the next steps. And the Pell Grant will allow them to be able to knock some of that money off, right? So this is very huge. If you have not gotten this information, just shoot me a private message and I will send it to you, but it will be tomorrow from 8:30 to 3 p.m. Once I get more information on the Pell Grant, then hopefully I should have something soon. So Revolutionary Workshop is not on the call, but I wanted to still highlight them. Wait, not them. Let me see. Revolutionary Workshop is one of our partners. They have just started a new cohort that's going to begin. So they just started accepting applications. We've had a number of people come through our doors and have graduated from the program, become electricians, working in construction, doing all different types of things. So the program works, all right? And the next cohort is going to be on March the 8th. And I did send this information out, but if you need me to send it to you directly, you can email me and I'll put it in the chat at jgreen@healthauthority.org, okay? So for those of you who don't know, we also have a Facebook page that I encourage everyone to join if you're not already. And I will put that in the chat right now. And that is for CSAC West. We also have a YouTube page that I want to encourage everybody to join. It has a number of videos from previous CSAC meetings. Last month's CSAC meeting was very powerful. Miss Regina Hernandez from Legal Aid Chicago did a whole PowerPoint on expungement. And as I put in the email, if you want information on sealing records or expungement, I can send you the whole entire PowerPoint. But here's a link to the page so that you can actually look at the videos. We've got videos for CSAC, Westside Health Authority, our ARC House, Transitional House, as well as previous videos, especially the video from last month, January 2021. And she really broke it down, the expungement process and what is needed and how they have a passion for just helping those get those records either sealed or expunged. And then really talks about the process step by step. So I encourage you, if you can, watch that video. Next video I want to put up is from Mr. Benny Lee. NAFI, they have their meeting every Saturday at 10 a.m. If you are interested, I can send you the information. I don't have it on hand right now, but this video was from last Saturday's meeting, and they really talked about some important things. So if you get a chance, maybe, you know, click it or maybe save it for later. But definitely you might want to check out that meeting and what they were talking about. Next, Danny Davis has a couple of things that are going to be coming up. The reentry meeting is going to be February 22nd. So you have to register online. Some of you probably already got the email, but those of you who didn't, hold on. Let me go back because I haven't sent it to. Okay. So that is for reentry. And that is for next Monday, okay? The next meeting, let me see. It's for mental health. Let me just put everything that I got here. This is how we're gonna do it. This is a mental health meeting that's gonna happen right after. So if you are interested, a lot of you are in the mental health field, like above and beyond. So you may wanna be on this call, okay? And then the last one is for women and reentry meeting. And this is for February 24th. So this is going to be specifically around the women, but I will be on this call as well. So I want, if you had the capacity, you had the time, then you should definitely fill out the information, you know, join the call and be a part of it. You know, let your voice be heard. Let people know what's going on. And let's be proactive as you already are doing, okay? I think that's pretty much it. I'm gonna pass it over again. Are there any announcements, anything, right? And then any announcements that I get, I will always email it to you guys. So make sure that it's just not the body of the email when I'm, you know, talking. Keep scrolling down and you'll find a bunch of things like Mr. Beasley was talking about Winner Circle. When I open up that new email, I'll send it out again because I'll send a link to the new video sometime next week. And then I'll have the information for the new flyer, but that meeting is every Saturday, okay? So if you have the time, join, and it's a great way to just have open conversation, because just because you come home and you have success doesn't mean that the trauma goes away. It doesn't mean that there isn't other things that are lingering. So it's a place for everyone to really have a conversation and talk about things that, you know, may not be relatable to everybody, okay? So I'm gonna open it up. No more announcements. I'm gonna give the floor to Mr. Terrence Hill of IDOC. Any announcements, parole announcements? Let us know what's going on, sir.
So a couple things that I really want to talk to before I get to the meat of why I'm here and I wanted to speak with everyone today. I did want to make a mention that Illinois Department of Corrections has been working diligently to manage its COVID caseload and numbers and make sure that we're protecting the men and women in our custody and in our care. Our numbers have seen a steady reduction over the course of the last few months to the point where we're under, I believe the number is under 350 inmates or people in incarceration currently with the virus. We're moving forward aggressively with plans in conjunction with the governor's office and the Illinois Department of Public Health to vaccinate all of the men and women in our custody in each and every institution across the state of Illinois. We will be working with the Illinois National Guard to get that mission accomplished. That will be ramping up here very shortly. Okay, that will be ramping up here very shortly at the beginning of next month. If there are any questions or concerns with specific numbers and what we're doing in the institutions and whether it be with our staff or the men and women in our custody, you can direct your question to me directly. I do have a number of numbers floating around and or meetings that I'm engaged with on a regular basis where those numbers are updated. So I can keep you in the loop as to what we're doing and how we're proceeding in the fight against the virus and protecting the men and women that we care for. Secondarily, the major reason for me to be here today and to participate is I wanted to announce that I have been working very, very hard with Mr. Joseph Green and CSAC West to bring a virtual summit of hope to the Chicago area mid-April. Wanted to work in conjunction with some of our local elected officials, have reached out and been in contact with Representative Danny Davis's office, as well as the Westside Health Authority, to bring this to everyone everyone in the community and all of our returning citizens in the Chicagoland area. I am really looking forward to partnering with Joseph, the Westside Health Authority, and all of you that I work with on a regular basis to make this a robust and welcoming event where we can really address some of the issues and put you in contact with men and women on parole in the Chicagoland area. The hope is to recreate this event a few times in and around the city with the hope of bringing a physical event to the city of Chicago as soon as possible. And when I say as soon as possible, I mean having some of the restrictions surrounding COVID removed and allowing us to gather large groups of people together so that we can actually get you face-to-face contact with the men and women that we all service. I know that wasn't a very, very long introduction and or list of announcements from the Illinois Department of Corrections. However, if you have any questions or concerns, I believe I have a few minutes to answer some of those for you. And again, I look forward to having all of you all participate with the planning and the actual event for the upcoming Summit of Hope that we plan to have this coming April, mid-April, actually. All right, that's pretty much it.
All right, I do got one more announcement, right? Be one second, I gotta do one thing real quick. And I do have another announcement. Representative Ford has a town hall meeting that is coming up on the 26th of February, okay? And here's a link for you to register for that Zoom call, okay? Let me read the body of the email if you give me 1 second. All questions need to be in by today, okay? If you want to have questions, and the meeting is at 6 p.m., okay? Alan Mills, the Executive Director of Uptown Law Center, and Illinois State Representative LaShawn K. Ford. So definitely would like to see you guys on that call if you have the time. I know it's after hours, so a lot of you have to take care of the family, but if you have time, the link is right there, okay? So we're gonna sorry about that. I hit the button on myself. Ain't that something? So we're gonna move right along to our inspirational speaker. Yes. So before I bring this gentleman in, Mr. Perry introduced me to Mr. Smith maybe a couple weeks ago, and you know, Mr. Perry said something that it resonated with me. He said that Nazir Smith can be the face of reentry, right? And, you know, I took it at face value, but we went into my office and we had a long conversation. We were supposed to just maybe talk for maybe 10 minutes, and we ended up talking for like almost an hour, 2 hours almost. And really just learned a lot about this brother, about his journey, what he did while he was, you know, incarcerated, but what he's trying to do now that he's not incarcerated, and just his vision. You know, when you meet visionaries, when you meet people who have vision, you want to have those like-minded individuals around you. And I definitely feel like this brother is a visionary. And I think his story is something that will not only enlighten you, but empower you. So I would like to bring Mr. Nazir Smith from Howard Area Center Community Center to come in and just bless us and just share. You got the floor, brother.
All right, thank you, Joseph. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Appreciate the introduction. It was honorable.
I told you I was gonna bring you in right.
Yeah, you did that. But you know, I acknowledge the fact that my story and my journey was something different. It was abnormal, but I have yet to come to terms with it being exceptional, because I see exceptional or excellence. It has to account with, it has to be in accordance with some success. So I'm still trying to reach my level of success before I can really accept my story as being something like as exceptional as I would like it to be. However, you know, I had a conversation with a friend of mine, a close friend of mine yesterday, and I was telling him about this meeting, you know, telling him about how I was, you know, supposed to be introduced as an inspirational speaker. And I asked him, you know, because this has been my friend for, you know, since we were kids, Sandbox. So I asked him, like, what's so inspiring about my story, being that, you know, thousands of Black men, youth, you know, go through similar situations. You know, the justice system has, you know, incarcerated many and plenty. So he kind of put things in perspective for me when he told me that, you know, my truth is like no other, same as everybody. Everybody is unique in their own way. Everybody has their own story, but my truth is what resonates with those who don't understand what we're going through. For an example, I was telling him that I wonder, do people expect me to say something about me being this infamous street guy that, you know, just used to terrorize Chicago or Illinois, however you put it. And I got all these war stories or whatever, and it led me to prison. And now I'm supposed to be like this superhero coming out. And that isn't the case. In fact, you know, I chose the streets by default. You know, the streets wasn't a last resort for me. You know, I had family, I had loved ones, I had aspirations, I had potential to do things. I graduated from high school. I actually went to college, played baseball on a baseball scholarship. You know, I associated, but I was never affiliated. So it's like my story in terms of street life isn't grand, but what he broke down to me is that it's more practical than that of the stereotypical type story, you know, and it's more relatable to a larger mass of people. So it may not make sense now, but you know, I don't want to dive too much into that. But what I want to say here is that, you know, I went to prison when it was never a part of my life, you know, and my life was actually set up for me, you know, for my whole life, especially my younger ages. I was an avid student athlete, so school and sports was my life. But yet I fell victim to statistics and became, you know, incarcerated due to a crime that I took responsibility for and I did commit. And I was sentenced to 26 years at 85% for a home invasion, which was committed in Champaign in Champaign County. You know, went and received 26 years at 85% at the age of 20. So I would never forget me being, you know, in that courtroom being sentenced and the judge saying that you will have to spend the next 22 years of your life incarcerated. And I was only 20 at the time, and I couldn't even fathom, you know, and I never had a criminal history. You know, I never had a felony, never been to a county jail before, never been to a penitentiary before, but just that easily I was disposable, you know, despite, you know, the support I had, despite the potential I had, despite, you know, my aspirations, you know, I was just thrown in a cage, so to speak, with no remorse. So what I realized is that my story may be more impactful because it's a testament that it can be anybody. One mistake can, you know, alter your life. But I think what I made of it is what touched most people, because the fact that I wasn't built for a life of crime, or I wasn't supposed to be destined to spending, you know, over a decade incarcerated, I still didn't let it define me, or I didn't let it I didn't let it define my future. I was still able to dictate my pace and determine what I wanted to be as a man and how I wanted our destiny to turn out. So while incarcerated, the first place they sent me was to Stateville Prison. So for those of you familiar, that's the maximum security prison. So I spent my first 3 years in Stateville Prison. I went down there, I was 21 years old and probably 150 pounds. And the first week I saw 2 dead bodies being taken out the cell, and because they were murdered, and that was my first week ever in prison, and I'll never forget it because it was like a moment of clarity. It was a moment that told me that to society or to the judicial system, at least, you disposable just like that. There's no one here to save you, no one here to protect you. You stand alone, and whatever skills or knowledge or wisdom or survival instincts you have, you got to put it to use now. And that's what I did. And what I realized is that, through observance and, being a student in life like I always was, I had to be a student in those situations as well. And what I learned is that those who survive or those who thrive, didn't do it off brute strength. Normally, they did it because they were smart, and I was a survivor at heart, so I made it my mission to prevail regardless. So I immediately started educating myself. I immediately started to read, learn things that I didn't know. I found interest in, finances and law. Before then, I hadn't even heard of a home invasion charge, let alone what sentence carried. And that's what I was being charged and sentenced with. But I learned as much as I could about it, and I enrolled in school. Actually, attained my associate's degree while I was in and graduated summa cum laude, top of my class. So I was proud of that as well. But I tried to make my focus growing and challenging myself to be a better person or gain a better understanding than what I had the day prior. And with me doing that and staying focused, I noticed that it kind of like put me in a different lane where I would get noticed by different individuals or respect from different individuals. And it kind of like by default turned me into like a mentor or an example for those other guys in there who maybe wanted a difference in their life or some change. So I took on that role willingly because I found gratification in helping others more than I did helping myself. For an example, further on during my sentence, I enrolled in or I volunteered to, do things like teacher's assistant or helping guys. I helped, over 25 guys get their GED, and then I would volunteer and help guys who didn't understand the law to learn their case, work on their case. I've helped guys get time back off their sentence. Recently, I just helped, I would say less than a month ago, I just helped one of my close friends that I've met in there get 5 years off his sentence. So it's some work that I'm doing even till today. And now that I'm employed by Howard Area Community Center, CSAC North, as a reentry coach, I can further that passion, and I appreciate the opportunity to do so. My story, it's like I wouldn't know where to begin or end with it. But what I want to do is shed light on the fact that you don't have to let what you go through define what you are meant to be. You can still determine your destiny and you can still move forward in life, after going through something as tragic as incarceration and being disenfranchised or dehumanized. You don't have to be stuck at a standstill. And I want to lead by example and show the guys that, because many of them I'm still in contact with to this day. Many of them I still reach out to, they reach out to me. Their family members, loved ones do the same. And I want to continue that. And, you know, hopefully one day have an organization or be able to contribute to an organization in a major way, because I know that reentry is a process in the incarcerate. It's a process of being incarcerated. Reentry is almost like the end of your incarceration, you know, because you still have to transition your mindset. You still have to deal with the reality of, you know, transitioning in it, and it's not over just because you're home. And so to have support, to have guidance, and to have examples, you know, can shed some light or give a person like that's going through my situation or, you know, some of the situations, give them hope and let them see that, you know, the future is still bright for all of us, you know. And my plan is to take full advantage of that and hopefully build some connections with you guys and learn more about reentry and opportunities that await for those guys that's on their way home, so I can, you know, be the liaison, so I can be the ambassador if need be. You know, I'm here, I'm willing to do my part. I appreciate y'all having me on board and allowing me the opportunity to be introduced to Zoom for the first time and speak to CSAC, meet some of these members. And if you guys got any questions, I you know, I speak more fluently. I'm an open book, so I don't mind asking questions. So guys want to reach out, talk to me, or even ask questions during this conference. I don't know how it goes, but I'm willing to discuss whatever. If you need me to keep talking, Joseph.
Now anybody got any questions for Mr. Smith? I was gonna ask you. I had to use the washroom. I was holding it for a while, but you know, you help the guys with. You were telling me about helping the men with their GED. You know what I'm saying? Did you go into that?
Oh yeah, well, so the last program I volunteered in before I was released was that it was a peer-driven program, meaning inmates ran the program. So what we did was we took rehabilitation into our own hands, because when you're inside, I know the motto for IDOC is rehabilitation, but when you're inside, it's more so, you know, discipline than it is rehabilitation. So I know safety is a priority for both staff and you know, felons, but you know, reentry is not as prevalent as one would think. And education is like the center of reentry. So what it was is, before I started helping our volunteer for this program, pretty much I would say 75% of the cellmates I had, and I had hundreds of cellmates probably, didn't have a GED, you know, and some of them couldn't read, some of them couldn't count. But we spent, in most of the prisons I was in, we were in the cells sometimes 23 hours a day. So I was always the type of person that wanted to be constructive with my time. And I encouraged others to do the same, because I knew that the smarter you are, the more equipped you are. So conversations that I used to try to engage in, I used to always try to challenge myself and those around me. So for those who didn't have that type of education, or those who, because a lot of them, you know, have, you know, they kind of like ego struck about admitting that they can't read, or, you know, a lot of them just, you know, embarrassed to ask for help. But I would volunteer even if they didn't ask, and then that, you know, and a lot of them got comfortable with it, so they'll send people my way who needed help, and it just kind of snowballed into effect where, when the program started, one of the main things of the program was to provide education and help mentor guys so they could get their GED, pass the test. So they selected me as a candidate, and I, you know, without hesitation, I amended my assistance. And to add to that, right? Because I don't want to ramble, but I do want to put this out there. Charles Perry, Westside Health Authority, you know, they contributed in my release. You know, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I was sentenced to 22 years of imprisonment, but I only did 12 and a half years because I came home 10 years early off of clemency granted by the Governor Pritzker. And yes, and he granted this clemency primarily due to the work and effort I showed that I was rehabilitated and changed, but also because of the support of the Westside Health Authority, Charles Perry, how they supported my mom and the people that didn't give up on me, you know, and the letters I wrote, the petitions I got signed, and you know, the story I told to him. So I wanted to, you know, thank Charles Perry, Westside Health Authority for contributing to my early release. Yeah.
Man, do y'all got any questions for this gentleman?
This is Toy Beasley with Taz. I don't have any questions, but Mr. Smith, I just want to appreciate your heart for sharing, for opening up. You know, there's a lot of young men and women that need to be inspired and hearing your story, and keep doing the good work. You know, men and women are looking for men and women that has integrity, that has passion to do the work they do, because a lot of our men coming out of prison and women that's coming out of prison need to hear that passion, need to hear what you have to say. So I appreciate what you do. Keep doing what you're doing. I truly believe that you're going to be used in a lot of different places. And thank you for being part of this platform today.
I appreciate you for having me.
I just want to say he's right here with me, and hear that story. We haven't had a chance to dialogue for me to see that, and we have a lot in common that I have never shared. Because when I was down in Pontiac, me and some more guys that was doing in college, we started a program called RAP, Resident Achievement Program, and we helped guys get their GED, because if you didn't have a GED, you couldn't work. And the ones that wasn't getting money from their family, they had to go to school. So we worked with them, helped them to get their GED. We also merged with Barbara Sizemore at Northwestern. And, you know, we're going to dialogue, but yeah, God doesn't do nothing unexplainable. And I'm glad you're here, my brother.
Awesome. Before I came with TAS, care coordinator, I used to work with TAS, and we worked. I worked inside IYC in St. Charles with the juveniles. We did reentry. We worked with them inside and continue to work with them outside. The crowd we're dealing with now is much younger, and one of my desires is to keep them from going to the juvenile penitentiary. You know, that's mainly our focus, because once I came out, I said, maybe we can stop them before they get there, because watching all them young men sitting there day in and day out, you know, it was kind of heartening, and it really bothered me, you know. So one of my things is, like I say, you know, if I can just prevent them from going there. You know, I've seen some of them go from the juvenile prison to the adult prison.
I mean, if I can add to that, or I ain't want to cut you off.
Go ahead, please.
Because one thing I noticed is that, you know, inconsistency is a major factor in a lot of people who have recidivism, you know, or even just choosing a life that's destructive or the wrong path. For an example, I seen grown men well past their 50 years old, you know, who call their mom from prison just because they know she's going to pick up, just because they know she's going to be there, just because they know she's going to be reliable. Even though when she picks up, she's going to get them a mouthful. She's going to curse them out. She's going to tell them how disappointed they is. They call anyway because they know that she going to pick up, they going to hear, and she going to give it to them the truth. And with that alone, once they get off the phone, and they talk about something, anything that's passionate, the only thing they really can speak about is their mother, because it's the only consistent thing in their life. Now, consistency is what people normally lean to. You know, for those who don't have consistency in life, like a lot of the youth, you know, it's like everybody needs somebody to lean on. So it's like a lot of them are just searching, you know, and don't have consistent examples, or don't have people who, you know, can tell them over and over, even though they might choose wrong. People who don't give up on them, you know, because sometimes you can't really save everybody. That's the sad truth. But you can be there, and you can not move. You can be that rock, and you know, through consistency, I mean, things tend to work out, or what's important to prevail. The truth always, you know, stand out. So I would encourage you to just continue to do what you're doing, because they're not gonna forget it, you know, and there's gonna be a time in their life when what you're doing really is gonna make the difference to them, you know, whether it be that wisdom, that lesson, or that memory, or that impression you leave, you know, because it was conversations in there, because I wasn't an angel as a child, you know, I was a knucklehead just like majority of us, but it was times that I would reflect on lessons or messages that would, you know, that was sent down from people who really cared about me, and I couldn't even remember the conversation, but I could remember the voice and the message, and the place it came from in their heart when they said it, and it would still have the same effect as it would that day, whether it be 10 years later. So don't think that, you know, your work is in vain, because if it's the truth, you can't deny the truth. And if it's from the heart, you know, they feel it. It's just a matter of being able to discern it. They sometimes, with maturity, you know, I think it'll work out.
Thank you.
All right. Man, I appreciate you, brother, taking time out of your day.
No
He is
problem.
with the Howard area community center. So he will be on hopefully you're gonna be on the CSAC North calls going forward, right?
I would suspect.
All right. So definitely get in tune with him. And if you need to get in contact, I'll be able to connect you. Mr. Williams will be able to connect you from CSAC North. I thank you for your time, brother. Really appreciate you coming and speaking the truth.
No problem. No problem.
Okay. So we're gonna move along to our guest speaker. And you know, when I first started working here, I started working here back October of 2018. I never forget, like September 30th was my birthday. And then October 1st was my first day working for Westside Health Authority. And it's been, one thing I always say about Westside Health Authority, there's never, every day is always different. And George Salter, who was the outreach coordinator before me, is the person that sought me out, hired me along with Roger Eman. And then Ms. Bell had confidence in me and asked Mr. Perry to put his arm around me. So I became Robin to his Batman. And I always look at him as Batman. But the person who really created the foundation, along with Ms. Reed and a lot of other people in the community, they really are the ones that help create this model, put this thing together, as we say. And throughout my time, I would go down to Sheridan for the summit, Sheridan Summit. What's going on with James Coleman? Everybody would bring this man's name up, and I didn't know who he was, right? And then I finally got to meet him, and I understood why he is who he is, because of the foundation that he's laid for me to be able to sit here and talk to you guys today. So I just want him to share everything. And then I got my notebook pad so that I'm here to learn as well. Because and one more thing before I introduce him, but we had like a overcomers group And it was me, him, and Verdell. And we're sitting there and we prayed together and had like a real conversation. And I felt like that right there really kind of opened the door for where I know where this man is coming from, his mission, his goal, and his purpose. And, you know, I'm just riding with him. So I just want him to come and share today. I asked him to be the guest speaker, and just really give us, you know, just really give us that word, give us that knowledge. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mr. Reverend James Coleman. You have the floor, sir.
Well, thank you so much for that inspiring, encouraging, warm introduction. I do thank you also for the invitation to be with you all here today. Mr. Roger Eamon, the director of Reentry over there. Can't forget him. He's one of the main team when we really launched out statewide in 2007. And what were the inspirational speaker? What was his name? Nazeer? Is he still around? Jerome, is Nazeer still around?
He might still be on the call. He
Okay.
might have left because
I see him right now. Okay. Brother, before I even get into this, I just want to thank you for your encouraging words. I mean, you have a knowledge of where success comes from. And, you know, the key to success is what you said. It's commitment and consistency. And it's commitment. I don't care, not just people in reentry, but anyone and everyone. You got to commit to something. You got to draw the line. I'm committed to this. I'm not going to the right. I'm not going to the left. Then you have to be consistent. And through your consistency, you create or you develop a positive habit. You know, that habit of doing things. We always, you know, in this world, reentry and substance abuse speak to habits primarily with negative things, drug habits, alcoholism, gambleholism, these kinds of things. But you can create positive habits through your consistency, and it just becomes a pattern of life, a way of being. It's just how you do it. You know, it's just how you do it. And so, you know, I'm very encouraged by that. And, you know, you have a knowledge understanding. I mean, you were well on your way because you said this, and I'll put it in my own words. Your past doesn't determine your future. Your choices do. And so, hey, I'll say it this way. I don't want you to allow anybody to define who you are, okay? I'll just say when people get out of prison, you're defined as a returned citizen, an ex-offender, all these different kinds of things. And so, you know, don't let society define you. Let your creator define you. And so I want to give a shout out to, I know Mr. Charles Hardwick, worked with him.
Reverend Coleman.
Oh, you back there? Okay, that's you. Okay, hey. I was gonna say Charles Hay, and then also Mr. Archery Phillips for all y'all down at Target area. I mean, I love all y'all. We work closely together, you know, for quite some time. I know I was statewide coordinator for about 8 years. So, you know, I'll just say when I came back to Westside Health Authority, you know, having worked with Reentry, and I'll just say, you know, on the policy level, a lot of advocacy, going in and out of prisons, working with correctional officials, working with elected officials to create policy, right? You know, it was my heart, but it was in 2015, after starting in 2004, the Lord told me just to quit my job. So imagine that, having a great salary, loving what you do, seeing people's lives change, you know, all these wonderful relationships that, you know, you have here at this table where individuals around the table become like family, you know, and, but God told me to drop it, move on to a different work of just straight ministry. And after doing that for about 4 years on the West Coast, told me to move back. So that brought me back to Illinois in 2019. You know, and so if I could have the liberty just to allow my heart to flow, because there's something that everyone needs that's on this call today. And, you know, service delivery, service providing is one thing, right? Everybody has needs. But what I have found in working with people in general, and especially this population, is the need for mind transformation. See, your thinking determines your living. So you can give a criminal thinker a job and he'd be employed, but he still has criminal thinking. So when the opportunity comes to steal somebody's purse or do whatever, steal from the job, steal from your employer, guess what will happen? They will. And I've seen a lot of people go back to prison, you know, in a very short period of time that had employment, but they never addressed thinking issues. Your thinking determines your living or determines your action. So with me always in addressing, yeah, you need food and we're gonna help you get that. Yeah, you need a job, we're gonna help you get that. But the reality of it is we need to work with you. And above all, connect the individual to God, because he's the savior. You know, he's the one that can lead and guide and direct better than any human being, right? And so let me just say, that's where I found my success when I gave my life to Christ in a prison cell in 1995. It was one time in and once, and the rest is history. Because it was there I made that commitment to no longer live for me, to no longer drink, to no longer drug, but to live for him, right? And to live for my family, my children. And so, you know, I have personal experience, just like the young man that shared the testimony and many of you. But again, I didn't allow society to define who I was. But I want to talk a little bit about, I heard one of the gentlemen speak earlier about passion. And what was in my heart to talk about was the power of passion. And if we were in the room together, I would have you say the power of passion. You see, that's really where it is. When you're passionate, you're not defined by 9 to 5. When you're passionate, you do what needs to be done, right? You work your way through it. You're committed to it. And you do whatever you need to do legally, when I say with your time, to get the thing accomplished. So if it meant for me to be a statewide director, you know, to be on the road every week, traveling the state of Illinois, you know, these meetings that we are in right now, I attended 7 a month for 7 years as a statewide director. And so there was a lot of travel. There's a lot of meetings in Springfield. There's a lot of working with correctional officials around Summits of Hope and Reentry summits. And, you know, that's something that we need to really be in prayer for and be advocating for. Especially, I was glad to hear Mr. Hill talk about the vaccine, because that was a major concern of mine. I mean, those prisons are death traps because you can't go nowhere. And they need the vaccine in there to stop the spread of this COVID. And so it's very important to go into prison. You know, people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care, right? So how motivated does an individual become when you show up in prison? And, you know, what I would say in the pre-release orientations that we used to do, you know, because all kind of things go on in your mind. People don't care about me. I'm locked up. My mama ain't answering my phone. She told me I done ran the bill up. All these kind of things. You in there that cell with Joe and them, right? That's all you got. And so one of the things I used to share with people that you are important, right? And you would say, you know, you're not getting no visits. Nobody comes to visit you, right? And so it would cause you to give up on yourself. I'm not going to try. Nobody cares about me. You know, you justify all these behaviors because you don't think no one's there for you. So I would tell them, you thought you never had a visit, but I come today just to give you a visit. And I would see the light come on in individuals because everybody's longing for that human touch. Everybody needs somebody. And a lot of individuals that are there have burned every bridge. They don't have nobody. So how important is it for you to show up and just say hello, let alone provide a visit, you know, and to create a bridge, right? A bridge from the prison to the community, right? And so I want to talk just briefly about how this whole CSAC model started, being fortunate enough to be here at the conception of it. And, you know, I want to say advocacy is critical. You know, in the hood, you know, sometimes you might have heard the statement, a closed mouth don't get fed, right? And so you got to speak for the people that don't have a voice. And so we here at the Westside Health Authority back in 2004 advocated to the Illinois Department of Corrections because there were so many people returning back to Austin from prison. Now, back then, there were 38,000 individuals, I believe it was 2005. 38,000 individuals were paroling to Chicago alone. 18,000 of those individuals paroled to 60651, where this organization is situated. And so we advocated that individuals from the community that look like them, that talk like them, Pookie and them, you know, Pookie and them, right? Those are our brothers and our sisters. Let us come to the table and support this reentry service. And I want to let you know, back then, all y'all wasn't around the table. And I'm not knocking that. Let me turn this off. That's my, excuse me. That's my dental appointment alarm. There wasn't a lot of people around the table. Back then, reentry wasn't popular. Aldermen, city councilmen, elected officials, a lot of organizations, they would have nothing to do. You have ever heard of the statement called NIMBY, not in my backyard? See, so there was that whole advocacy just to provide services for individuals returning home from prison. So we took this argument to the Department of Corrections to allow community to be a part of this reentry process. I'll say, you know, back then there were primarily a few reentry organizations. One of them was Safer Foundation. One of them was TAS around the line today. Gateway was big in providing transitional housing or recovery housing, and who else? One up north, very big, that over here now.
A Safe Haven.
A Safe Haven, that's correct. Thank you.
They're still up north though also. They're still in
Yeah.
Rochester Park.
So there were only these few organizations that were around the table. So let me just say, this is a business, right? It costs money to turn on lights and to serve people. Don't be deceived in that. You do it out of passion, but you do need money to serve. And so, you know, there was a struggle in the beginning just to come to the table. And so when the Department of Corrections allowed us to come to the table, I was fortunate enough to be the director of prisoner reentry at the Westside Health Authority. And so with the pass to go into prison, first of all, it started with a meeting just like this. This is just how it started. Community residents, community organizations at the table talking about how we gonna help people get their life back on track coming out of prison. So once we developed this collaborative, I thought, and this, I'm telling you, this is how it happened. I thought, well, these guys in prison need to know about these people in the community, want to serve them. So I went to the warden of Sheridan Correctional Center at the time. And I said, hey, warden, I want to start a pre-release orientation class. So these individuals would know about the services that are available for individuals to come to when they get out. What you're doing today was not going on. Summits of Hope were not then. Reentry summits were not then. Those kinds of programs were created along the way, probably somewhere around 2009, 2010. So the pre-release orientation program started where we could go in and give a visit and talk about the services in the community. Number one, build that relationship where people would know that you were there. Somebody was there that cared about them. And then they could transition to the community. So a pre-release orientation. Then I recognized, right, that, you know, there's more than a job or clothing or these ancillary services that were required for success. That these men and these women and their families need to have an opportunity to come together and talk. And so we started the Overcomer Support Group meeting. And so with that Overcomer Support Group meeting, all the community was able to come in. Healthy people from the community that cared about people returning home from prison, people from treatment centers would all come together and gather every Thursday night, talk about the barriers to success, celebrate victories, and I would cook a meal for them as a retired chef, I'll say. And so, you know, that was really the strength of it. And as well as it gave me opportunity to advocate for the ancillary services, such as housing and employment and bus passes. You know, through this kind of advocacy, you know, one day Mayor Daley, who was a mayor at the time, heard about the work we were doing over here, and he came out and he awarded us a grant. I think that was about in 2006, and it was called the City of Chicago One-Stop Reentry Centers. And so the Westside Health Authority was the first to be able to be connected with the city on that, along with Teamwork Inglewood. So make a long story short in that, through the ability to reduce recidivism and develop these kinds of relationships. Hold on. To develop these relationships, the Department of Corrections saw the value of this program. They said, hey, they're really making a difference here. We would like to see this program be implemented statewide in the highest impact areas of individuals returning home from prison. And so being one that was a director, and really, I'm gonna just say, all glory to God. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just doing what I thought was right to do, right? Somebody say, do the right thing. See, you know, that's where success is. It's not in a model, it's in your heart. See, I don't care what program you work. Success of a program is in your heart, because what you put in is what's gonna come out. If you're committed, everybody gonna know, people gonna see, and they're gonna connect to you. Your passion will be made known. And so, you know, I'll just say everybody likes a good thing. And that has nothing to do with it, with an individual, but it has all to do with the commitment to do good. And so the Department of Corrections assistant director invited me to the Thompson building and just said, hey, Reverend Coleman, you know, I like what you've been doing. Let's just cut to the chase. Would you do this for it statewide? Just like that. I'm just giving you a little history. And I said, well, you know, how much you gonna pay? Hey, but let me just tell you this. From a guy coming home from prison, right? And then formerly incarcerated as a trained chef, Nazeer, who nobody was willing to give me a job as a prep cook because of my criminal history. I didn't apply. I was appointed. My faith, man, and doing the right thing. See? And so you know, they asked me how much I would charge them, and I did. I told them, and you know what? They said, yeah. And so I left the Westside Health Authority in 2007 and became the statewide director. And so I oversaw 3 programs in Chicago, Springfield. We started one in Decatur as well, East St. Louis, and Marion, Illinois. So I did that for over 8 years. And so there's no limits on your life. The only limits on your life are the ones you place on them yourself. You have to believe in yourself, people, because it's your belief that will transfer that faith or that belief to the one you're trying to serve. Right? And so, you know, it was in 2015 I resigned. And like I say, Roger, I haven't been over, or Joseph will say, I ain't been over there trying to run CSAC. I haven't, because now, you know, what the Lord has done is open up a different role for me as Director of Community Wellness, the Good Neighbor campaign, where we have the opportunity to work with, you know, the whole community, seniors to youth to, you know, whatever needs to be addressed. So right now, you know, I took a team of individuals and we went and got vaccinated for the COVID. You know, we're doing an awareness campaign on the COVID vaccination, you know, with our collaboration with Joseph and Roger and Charles and the Reentry. You know, we distribute about 98 boxes of mixed food every Thursday night. We also have a kids cafe program where we provide grab and go box of meals for kids. So if you guys have any kids, you know, you can have the parents reach out to us, connect with Joseph, whatever. They can just come pick up a grab and go box of meals. We have community meetings, our Good Neighbor campaign, where we have developed a Good Neighbor zone, really to take charge of certain areas of Austin. And we've started right here behind our facilities. We're developing that neighbor zone, building relationship, block by block, person by person, organization by organization. I want to say, what else is that? I talked about also the violence prevention and intervention. So where we work with the 15th district, I heard Ms. Maureen Perkins on the line. We work with her team and the district coordinated officers. And I got to go, people, because my dentist appointment is at 2, but I guarantee you the dentist will be okay. It's right down the street. So I want to leave you with this, everybody. I mean, this is just so encouraging for me. Really, literally, I fought tears when I was just listening in the beginning, you know, knowing the labor, you know, that has gone in, at least for me, and, you know, working to develop and then overseeing and seeing something that you see literally lived for. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Literally lived for, because it was my mission and my purpose at the time. And let me just say, don't define your work to 9 to 5, man. Define your work as success. What do I need to do to succeed? What do I need to do to make that difference, right? Because the reality, what it boils down to, this is what really changed my life in prison. When I I was laying on my prison bunk. It was in 1995 when I first got to the joint. And I had a thought of an individual that used to hand out penny candy every day after school. Now, I grew up in the projects in Seattle. And this individual that handed out this penny candy to Black kids was a white man. And so kids would line up at his project door and he'd be faithful to hand out penny candy. If he ran out of his penny candy, he'd give us a sugar cube. If he ran out of sugar cubes, he'd give us a nickel. And I'm laying on my bunk, you know, because all you got is time. You got plenty of time to think, right? Nazeer, right? And so as I'm thinking about this guy, I hear a whisper in my ear. I hear a still small voice saying to me, James, how are they going to remember you? How are they going to remember you? And so there's a higher level of living when you're not living for yourself, you're living for others. And so having said all that, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm blessed. Joseph, you're doing a great job. Roger and Charles, you guys are awesome. There's so much to do in reentry. There really, really is. And I got to tell you, it's been a discipline not to want to pick it back up again. I'm still here. You know, people are people, but you know, I do what my boss tells me to do. God bless you. I gotta go. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Do you want to take any questions, or do you really got to go right now? Because if somebody had questions, they wanted to ask you something real quick, I'll just comment. Okay. I think he had to go. Yeah, he definitely had to go because he told me he had to leave about before 2. So I want to thank everybody because we are at the end. I want to thank everybody for taking time out of their day. Our next meeting will be on March 19th at 12 p.m. I will be sending everything out. This video will be available on the YouTube channel sometime next week, but I'll send out another email. Again, if you're new and you're not on the email, you can send me an email at, write it right now. I know a lot of people left, but jgreen, JGREEN at healthauthority.org. All right, jgreen at healthauthority.org. Send me an email. Let's connect. And let's not let this be, the only time that you come through. I love to see us all engaged and really talking. And I hope that sometime in either 2021 or 2022, we get to come together again and have that meal and congregate like we used to. But for now, it's great to hear all of the great work with all of your programs and everybody. I want to thank our inspirational speaker, Mr. Smith, and I want to thank our guest speaker, Reverend Coleman, for blessing us today. Very impactful, both of you. And with that being said, man, have a great weekend. Stay safe. There will be snow on Sunday, so make sure you got your brooms and your buckets out there for your parking space. Have a good one. And see y'all later.
All right, have a good one, Joseph.
All right, brother.
All right.
Tell Charles I said what up.
I will, definitely.
All right.